From the Gray Man Briefing, this is a summary of recent developments regarding the Second Amendment, cybersecurity, protests, supply chain disruptions, national security, law and order, free speech, censorship, government oversight, and more. Now, for your situational awareness, Super Essie will be reading out the latest update. Get briefs sent in real time at graymanbriefing.com. That's gray with an A. Let's get into it.
This week's broadcast will be quick. We do have some important updates on election security, including that Iranian hack on the Trump campaign, and new findings that 27% of non-citizens may be registered to vote, which coincides with Arizona now allowing 98,000 unconfirmed citizens to vote this November. We're also monitoring the buildup of U.S. troops in the Middle East as hostilities increase in the area. First, let's start with government oversight and some health and safety. In Kentucky, the governor has signed an executive order banning conversion therapy for minors, also banning counseling for minors. The order prohibits the state and federal funds from being used for the practice that disallows referrals for conversion therapy and prevents health insurance from covering such services. Any healthcare provider found providing or recommending conversion therapy to juveniles will be reported to the appropriate licensing board for disciplinary action. So this isn't just for conversion therapy, it's a ban on any counseling for any juvenile who is struggling to try to remain their biological sex. So if a male had previously been identifying as a female and regrets it or is changing or whatever you want to call it, they will not be allowed to seek counseling to help them understand their issue. No counseling will be allowed, and this has already taken effect. The order signed, and this is Kentucky, by the way. Moving into cybersecurity and election security. In September of this year, the FBI, the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Administration, and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence confirmed that the Iranian malicious cyber actors hacked into former President Trump's campaign. The hackers sent non-public material to U.S. media outlets and individuals associated with President Biden's campaign. The FBI did not confirm if the Biden campaign replied to the Iranians, but they did verify that the data was received by the Biden campaign. Shifting into privacy and commercial oversight, Telegram has updated its terms of service and privacy policy, allowing for more cooperation with law enforcement. If authorities provide a valid court order proving a user is a suspect of criminal activities, Telegram will now share that user's IP address and phone number. The change is a shift from the company's previous policy, which required proof of involvement in terrorism before sharing such information. Now moving into global conflict. The Pentagon has announced that the U.S. is deploying more military service members. The number of troops was not revealed, but they're sending them to the Middle East in response to escalating violence between Israel and Hezbollah, raising concerns of a broader regional conflict as Israel shifts into what they're calling a new phase targeting Hezbollah in northern Lebanon. The U.S. State Department has warned American citizens to evacuate Lebanon due to the increasing instability and uncertainty in the region. What's called a small number of soldiers that are being deployed was said to be due to, quote, increased tension in the Middle East and out of an abundance of caution. The U.S. CENTCOM appears to have 40,000 service members deployed to the Middle East. That's up 6,000 from their standing posture, but down about 10,000 from a buildup we saw in recent months when we saw those fleet deployments shifting over there. Small number of soon-to-be deployed SMs is expected to bring ground forces to a record high following the botched Afghanistan withdrawal. Now let's talk some more on election security. The Arizona Supreme Court has ruled that 98,000 individuals whose U.S. citizenship has not been confirmed will still be allowed to vote in upcoming state and local elections. So not the federal election, not for president, but the non-citizens, possibly illegal immigrants, may vote in local and state elections. Georgia's election board has introduced a new rule requiring a hand count of ballots in November. This hand count must match machine counts before the election can be certified. A recent study estimates that between 10% to 27% of non-citizens in the U.S. may be illegally registered to vote. This could result in up to 2.7 million illegal votes in the November elections. Tennessee has implemented a new law establishing a voter verifiable paper audit trail. Voters will now receive a physical record of their vote, which they can review before submission. The law also increases penalties for election fraud and grants greater authority to investigate potential violations. So, overall, multiple states have introduced new election procedures. In Arizona, mail voting has been expanded, absentee ballot signature matching has been updated. Florida has restricted the use of drop boxes and imposed tighter voter ID requirements for mail in ballots. Georgia now requires ID for absentee ballots and limits the use of drop boxes. North Carolina has, for the first time, introduced voter ID laws. This was actually, I think, back in 2018, a ballot measure. Citizens said, hey, we want voter ID, but it's been challenged in the courts. But this will be the first election. In North Carolina, you'll need a ID to vote. Let's do a quick update on that pager attack in Lebanon. The death toll in the pager attack has risen to 12, with a reported 1,200 plus injured. Separately, 14 suspected Hezbollah terrorists were killed and 450 plus injured in a coordinated attack utilizing explosives in handheld radios, things like FRS and GMRS walkie-talkies. Israel, of course, is blamed in the attack, and uninvolved citizens were also reportedly injured. So that is it for this week. Join the news and intel service at graymanbriefing.com. That's gray with an A for more. It's $5 a month. The briefs are sent right to your email, and also they're sent daily on the Telegram and Signal apps. Thanks for listening. As always, please remain aware, be vigilant, and stay safe.
Get unredacted, real-time briefings sent via email and through the Telegram and Signal apps by joining the Gray Man Briefing.